Hello, everyone. Welcome back to In the Art Podcast with your hosts, Collin and Braeden Cox, as we record here on April 9th. It's a Wednesday night, and we are about a week and a half to 2 weeks into the MLB season. So, Braeden and I are going to be giving you a quick update. So, we have a few main topics in mind. We might talk a little bit about other stuff here and there. But yeah, Braeden and I pretty closely been following MLB season. Who's hot, who's not, who's true contenders, who's not real true contenders, who's off to a slow start. But yeah, Brandon, how are you feeling about the baseball season overall so far?
I know this isn't a Yankees episode, but our Yankees have given us, it feels like kind of a roller coaster season already to start with the explosion offensively they had in the first series, and they kind of struggled against the Diamondbacks, and it looked like they were back with the Pirates, and then they struggled against Detroit this last series.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of been all over the place. But overall, I think we have a lot of competitive races like right off the rip, and definitely some teams that are surprising both in a positive and negative way.
Yeah.
So we could just jump into your topics or whatever you want
Yeah.
to do. So
Brandon, I actually want to start off with the Angels. You want to start off with
okay,
the Los Angeles Angels, who, as we speak, currently lead. I think they're losing right now. I think
yeah,
it's around 8:30,
yeah,
or it's around 9 right now. They're losing to the Rays by one. But as it stands right now, as we speak, they are in first in the AL West. And I just wanted to give my thoughts on whether or not I think they could, stay atop of the AL West throughout the whole season. And I think, to a lot of people, surprised they're not doing as bad as anyone really thought they would. Mike Trout has definitely been degressing, right? The offense hasn't really been much of a super firepower, but their pitching is what's kind of winning them games. It seems like from when I look at the box scores. But yeah, I'm just surprised overall by the Angels, and I just want to hear Braden's thoughts real quick on the state of them and what he thinks before I give my final take on if they could stay top of the AL West.
yeah. I mean, I think that they're um, maybe a little bit better than what we expected. There was a lot of conversation. I think we both predicted the Angels to finish last in the AL West, right? Is that correct?
I think I
I
did
know I
too.
had them last because I had the Sacramento A's finishing ahead of them.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's still early in the season, so it's still tough to tell. They've probably played around 10, 11, 12, somewhere in their games. Um, but if you're going to ask me right now if I think that they can stay afloat, I would lean no. There's just nothing there that would make me think that in like June or July this team is going to be like competitive with teams like Seattle, who has had a slow start but did beat the Astros tonight. The Astros also have had a slow start. And then there's the Texas Rangers who have had a good start. It's just that the Angels are like right there
Mm-hmm.
with them.
Yeah.
So I'm not willing to jump off my ship of the Texas Rangers are going to win this division. They might even run away with it. I just like the star power that they have there. But the Angels might surprise, and maybe if a team like Houston or Seattle like regresses like a ton,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Oakland might, or I guess I shouldn't say Oakland, but the A's might find themselves in third place, and maybe the Angels can have a better season than anticipated. But I'm still a little reluctant to jump on that train. But
Yeah. Yeah, Brent, I agree. I think it's nailed the head there. It's still super early in the season, and the competition hasn't been the greatest.
yeah,
They're playing the Rays right now. I think it's kind of like pretty even.
yeah,
Um, but I do have some notes here. So Logan Hoppy does have a 1
yep,
OPS right now. He's
yeah,
off to a great start to
yeah,
the
yeah,
season. And obviously, and I'm sure many have heard about this, the no cell phone policy put in place by
yeah,
Ron Washington
yeah.
during spring training. I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
No TikTok in
Um,
the clubhouse, so
yeah, so maybe they're more focused, they're more locked in. Maybe they have to, have to do more team bonding, communicating with each other. Maybe it starts with Ron Washington. I'll get into that a little bit here. But I think overall their pitching has been pretty solid, like
yeah,
not like terrible. I feel like we've definitely seen worse rotations around the league. But it starts with Kyle Hendricks. You got Jack Kakowicz. I don't know how to say that.
yeah.
Do you know
And
how to say it?
no, I don't know how
Kakowicz,
to say
right?
it, but I like know who you're talking about.
Right. And then Tyler Anderson, you got
Yeah,
Yasiel Kikuchi as your last guy right now. So that's a pretty solid
yeah,
rotation. Um, and Kyron Paris is kind of breaking out a little bit. He's been having a good season as well. But so I'm not gonna hop on the Angels bandwagon just yet. Like as much as I want to, I want Mike Trout to be. We're all rooting for Mike Trout
Yeah,
after the career he's had. Not much playoff success. But Braden, if their pitching could remain solid and they get a bat or two
yeah.
by the deadline, and with the leadership of Ron Washington
It's
and Mike
true.
Trout,
Anything can happen.
anything could happen.
Hundred
I'm
percent.
not counting them out just yet. I know some people are like, oh, the Angels are frauds. I'm not gonna say that just yet, but I'm curious to see what they can do. And maybe a bat and an acquisition here or there could go a long way. And I feel like they just have that veteran presence and just know how to win games at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And we kind of been seeing that with them as well. But yeah, I'm not gonna just hop on the Angels bandwagon just yet. I don't think many people are, especially with like the Rangers, and the Astros, and the Mariners are all really good teams as well. But yeah, I think it's gonna be an interesting storyline to watch the Angels throughout the season,
Yeah.
especially with their hot start. So.
Yeah. What's a great Angels season to you record wise when it's all said and done?
I would say 80 wins would be a great Angels season.
I would think that'd
right?
be. I don't know what their over under was to start the year, but it definitely wasn't
Definitely
that
was
high.
had to be in like the 70s, right?
Yeah.
So I think if they could go out and win 80 games, I feel like it'd be a huge success for them, especially in that division. Like I said, tough division, but yeah, I think overall, I think the Angels are going to be a fun storyline to watch. I'm not hopping on the Angels are back bandwagon just yet. It's still early, still April. We're not even 2 weeks into the season.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, I think if they're like in the playoff race with like 2 weeks left, that's like a fantastic season for them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that's going to happen, but if they're, largely in the hunt with a team like Seattle or Houston, like that's a win of a season because you were projected to be probably a bottom 3 team in the league. But we'll see. The jury's obviously still out. You got to do it consistently. Ask me this question when it hits, May and then June. You know what I mean? That's when it'll matter most. Yeah. So
if they're, I feel like as long as they finish above 500, like
it's win.
It's a win for them.
Win for them. For sure.
But yeah, anything else to add on the Angels?
No, that's it.
Cool. So I know Brandon, he had a specific topic he want to talk about. Brandon, want to get into that? I think it was about the NL West, right?
Yeah, it revolves around. We knew that the NL West was going to be competitive in the sense that we kind of put the Diamondbacks and the Padres, and I even put the Giants in the conversation of like, yeah, all these teams are going to be kind of a mosh pit. Then the Dodgers are going to run away with it, right?
Right.
But that's not what we've seen at all this year. We've seen almost the opposite, where the Giants, the Padres, and the Dodgers are the ones in the mosh pit, and the Diamondbacks have kind of taken a step back. I know it's still early in the season. They won like 9-0 today, so there's no concerns there for our Diamondbacks fans. But I just like to hear your thoughts about like we all said like the Dodgers could win 120 games, right? And we're not saying that that's realistic because it's not, but we all pretty much said that they're going to run away with this division. But do you still feel that way now, 2 weeks into the season? Do you still think that they're still going to run away with it at some point, and then this is just early season antics by all 3 teams, or?
It's like again, it's tough to tell. I think the Dodgers are a great team. Honestly, a lot of star power, still and a lot of injuries too.
Yeah.
But Dodgers started off 8-0, I think it was, and then they went to Philly and lost the series to the Phillies, and actually went to DC and lost that series too. Yeah. So like they're beatable. It shows they're very beatable, even with all that star power. Yeah. But like I still think they're still early on. I think the Dodgers are still gonna run away with the division. And I think the Padres are going to be right there. I think the D-backs are going to be right there. And at this point, Braden, kind of a surprise team, especially from in the yard. I think the Giants are going to be there as of the way they're playing right now.
Yeah.
It's just overall the NL West is just a cutthroat division. Super good. I could see 4 teams making the playoffs as long as they take care of the teams outside of their division, right? But yeah, I just think the NL West was really good because we were high on the Dodgers, we were high on the Padres, we were high on the D-backs going into the season. Next year, the Giants come along and they're leading the West 2 weeks into the season. So like, it just goes to show you how good the division really is. And yeah, I kind of want to get into the Giants a little bit. Are you surprised by the Giants' hot start? Because I was for sure.
I'm not, because I think I said in our preview episode that I think that this team could make the playoffs. I think I was a little bit more. I don't remember.
You've been high on the Giants a couple.
I don't remember exactly where I put them, but I think I had them third. I think I may have had Dodgers, D-backs, Giants, Padres. Obviously, you guys can correct me on that, but I'm like pretty sure I had like the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and the Padres in that order, but like separated by no game. So I was always a little bit higher on the Giants. So
Definitely higher than me.
yeah, so I'm not like too surprised, but again, like you said, it's so early in the season. I still do think that the Dodgers win this division, probably comfortably.
I hope they don't. Like, it'd be
Of
cool.
course not.
It'd be cool if the Padres or the
it'd be-
D-backs or the Giants come along and take the division right from them. But still early.
What I will say though is you wanted to talk a little bit more about the Giants. I want to talk about the Snakes.
Okay.
Right? Because if it's going to be this competitive, right? We're concerned about their pitching. Jordan Montgomery's out for the year. Like this, yeah, they're 6-6. They won today. I don't know. Like, I'm a little concerned about the D-backs, not because I don't think that they can't do it, but it's like, well, we probably expected the Dodgers to run away with it and to beat up on those other teams, but like that's not what we've seen so far. Right. So the Diamondbacks could realistically have a really good season and finish fourth,
right?
Which probably leaves them out of the playoff spot.
Probably.
Like I can't imagine finishing fourth. You realistically make the playoffs, especially with the NL East, where you have the Braves, who we'll talk about, but the Phillies and the Mets are both playing well too. So I don't know. Like it's definitely the best division in baseball, I would say right now. And it's going to be interesting to see in a month or two from now, like who really is standing out besides the Dodgers, right? Yeah. Who's going to be the other team that would really be the force there? So
yeah, I completely understand your concern for the D-backs, especially like same instances last year. Their pitching is what raised a lot of questions. They lose Christian Walker, replace him with Josh Naylor's been struggling at first base. We've seen it from the.
He had a good night tonight, but
yeah, like I completely like I was really high on the D-backs last year and this year. But you know they're not playing great ball right now. They're winning games. They beat our Yanks up pretty good. Eugenio Suarez off to a great start, right? But he's kind of cooled off a little bit. I don't know. I just like you said, we're so early in the season. It's tough to tell. But like I'm not right now. I'm not as high on the D-backs as I was before the season started.
That's right.
Again, long season, still super early on. But I just think, there's the division is that good, and like you said, if they could have a great season, finish fourth, and miss the playoffs again. We saw it last year. They had a good season last year, and they missed the playoffs. So
best offense in baseball.
Best offense in baseball. I still think their offense is great. Isn't Ketel Marte? Didn't he go down the other day?
Yeah, he's on the IL.
So Ketel Marte has been injury prone the past couple of seasons. He was in the running for MVP last year, and he went down with the injury. Yep. Corbin Carroll's still very good. So it was also a hard start. Josh Naylor's still very good. So Geraldo Perdomo doing his thing.
2023 for them was just like a perfect storm. Like everything worked out well. Like Corbin Carroll, rookie, ended up being fantastic. Marte was healthy. Zach Gallen was dealing. Brendan, I forget his last name. Was dealing.
Mario Kelly too.
They were dealing. Like everything was just so perfect.
Everything clicked.
And then last year, one side of it really clicked and the other didn't. Miss the playoffs, and that's what I'm concerned this year. Just because it's like now you got to deal with potentially 3 teams that could be like at least as good as you or better.
Right.
So we'll say.
Right. And one more thing about the NL West, Braeden, I want to just bring up the Giants again. Again, you were pretty high on them too. I just want to say, I'm from my end, I'm really surprised. They go out and get Willie Adames in the offseason, right?
He hasn't done much.
And he hasn't even done much. That's what I was going to get to. They're just a really solid roster. They don't have much star power, but they're a really solid roster, top to bottom. Yeah. And they have a really good 1, 2, 3. Again, still early in the season. But Logan Webb, 1.89 ERA right now. Jordan Hicks, 2.38 ERA, and Robbie Ray, 3.18 ERA. They also went out and got Jung-Hoo Lee, who's off to a pretty good start. I think he's buying around 300 right now, so he's off to a good start as well. It's gonna be fun to watch the Giants, similar to the Angels, just to see where the storyline goes. And tough division, but they've shown they can compete. So it's gonna be just overall. I think the NL West is gonna be super fun to watch, and it's gonna be crazy. Come August and September when it comes down to the playoff races. Yeah. So
hopefully our Yanks can cool them off this weekend. That's gonna be a good series.
Yeah, in the Bronx, right?
In the Bronx.
Yeah. So hopefully Yanks take care of business again. I feel like the Yankees do.
They play well.
Pretty good.
Yeah, they play
especially
well.
in the Bronx against them. Maybe not at Oracle. Yeah. Last year Juan Soto had that 3-run homer, right? That was pretty cool, but we don't remember him. All right, that's all I got on the NL West.
Yeah.
Anything else? It's
No,
gonna be a fun division overall, and
yeah.
besides the Rockies, obviously, but
Yeah.
Rockies 0% chance to make the playoffs after 2 weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any disrespect to the Rockies. I think the division is that good where like if you don't finish top 3, you're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. And they're
yeah.
really bad on top of it. But
Yeah.
Anyway.
I got all my thoughts there. We already talked about the Angels. Oh yeah, one team I wanted to get into. Also on the NL side of things, I think I told you this, Braeden, is the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
2-8 start. I don't know if they're winning right now. I know we checked the scores before we started.
It was tied. It was 0-0.
My fantasy team could use a 0-0. I had Sale Wheeler going yesterday. They both got like 2 points.
Yeah.
So I was hoping for a 0-0 8-inning game from both of them, but that didn't work out. Anyway, Braves, off to 2-8 start. They go into LA, they got swept by San Diego, go into LA, get swept by them. I think they split with the Marlins and the last game was postponed.
Yeah.
And then they took care of business back at home yesterday against the Phillies. But Braeden, I know you had the Atlanta Braves winning the NL East. Are you still confident that you still do that?
I'm not. I'm definitely a little bit less confident, but I still do think that they can. I still think they figure it out.
Yeah.
You had very tough. That's a tough draw to start your season on the road on the opposite side of the country.
Right.
Against the Padres, who looked unbeatable that series at least, and then the Dodgers. Right. You come home and you split with the Marlins. Right. And like you said, they beat the Phillies last night. To me, the key there is, you got tossed around by the Dodgers and the Padres, but you got to win games in the division. That's really what's going to matter here, right? Because I think as long as you win your division, you're going to have a great chance to at least get to the DS. And I still think that's totally,
Well, if you win the division, you automatically make the DS.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's not true.
One other team that,
Yes.
But
most likely going to be a central team, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's probably going to be the Dodgers and whoever wins the NL East, right? So to me, if they beat the Phillies tonight, I don't have any concerns. We have people talking about, there's going to be a huge regression with the Atlanta Braves. I have to see, if they truly play like they did against the Dodgers, the Padres in division, it's probably going to be wraps because they're not going to be able to. You can't fall behind that much in the division,
right? Especially in the division that good.
Exactly.
The Phillies are off to a hot start.
Yeah.
So the Mets start off slow, but they're 8-3 now or 7-4, something like that.
Yeah. So take care of business against the division opponents. Yeah. You started the season 0-6 or 0-7, whatever it was. But look at yourself in the mirror. You played 2 really good teams. It's a tough draw. Put it behind you. And I think you just go out there and play ball. They have the talent.
Right.
Right. Chris Sale, I know he's been a little sketchy this year after being off the Cy Young last year. We'll see. I still have faith that they're going to be fine. Strider's not even back yet, and then neither is Cunha. Yeah. So
you hit the nail on the head. I think they're way too good of a team and way too talented of a roster to count out 10 games into the season. I know you don't dig yourself that hole, especially in a division that good with the Phillies and the Mets. But like I said, you hit the nail on the head. Their roster's too good to count them out. And they've shown they could do it. They've shown they could, win games in the past. Austin Riley's off to a slow start.
Yeah.
I think Azuna's off to a slow start. I think Olsen's off to a slow start.
Yeah, very.
But like I said, it's April, right? They had to go on the road. They had to go on the West Coast. I think it's only a matter of time to click again.
Yeah.
And I'm not even counting them out. I had the Phillies winning the East. But I'm not counting out the Braves just yet, even though they're 2-8 or maybe 2 I don't know what the score is right now.
3 or something like this point.
2-8. But just like you said, too good of a roster to count out. And like you said, also Strider's coming back, Acuna's coming back. I think Strider's coming back really soon.
Yeah.
Acuna, I'm not really sure what his timeline's looking like at the moment, but yeah, I think they're too good of a team to count out.
I just don't see these 3 teams, Mets, the Phillies, and the Braves, not being separated by next to nothing when it's all said and done. They had a slow start, and the Phillies and Mets have had decent starts in comparison, right? But the talent's there, like you said. I just can't see it at the end of the day not being relatively close. This is not to say that the Mets can't win it or the Phillies can't win it. It's just it's too early to tell, right?
Yeah.
If they continue, if we're talking about in 2 weeks from now that they're 7 and whatever it would be, 7 and at that point it would be probably close to 15.
Yeah.
Like then you have a problem,
Right.
right? Because I just don't see the Mets or Phils falling into something like that.
Yeah. The 2019 Nationals started off 19-34 and won the World Series that year.
Never know.
Just saying.
Never know. Did you just check the score?
I did. It's 3-2 Phillies.
Okay.
The
Probably seventh inning. Okay.
So, yeah, as long as they win this series, Brandon, I think they'll be okay. But I think really start with this homestand here and beating up, and taking care of business against the Phillies, who are a good team and your division rival. So, I think it starts here. I think it's going to set the tone for them for the rest of the month at least, and go from there.
Yeah.
But
cool.
So I got in the Braves. Anything, Brady had one more topic we wanted to go over?
Yeah,
I didn't really take many notes for this one, but
yeah, I mean it'll probably be quick, but just Sacktown A's and how the ball's really been flying out there. I know it didn't today.
Today was, of course, we were planning to talk about today. Yeah. And today it finished 2-1.
Yeah.
But I think all the other scores before that were like at least double digits between.
Between the two, I'm pretty sure the combined score was double digits. And yeah, I mean, I know we talked about the Angels, who are in the same division as the A's, but they haven't had that great of a start. But like, what are you thinking on the A's in general? They're playing in a minor league park.
Mm-hmm.
The ball's carrying. It seems like that they're going to be able to score a lot of runs besides today.
Mm-hmm.
Any chance that this team like makes some noise just because of where they're playing?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said at the beginning of the season they have a good offense, right? They got Langoliers, Tyler Soderstrom he's kind of making a name himself in the league now. Lawrence Butler, he's gonna be good, obviously. And it's just it is the pitching that concerns me still. No one's really been like that lights out for them.
Yeah.
But their offense is helping them win games as of right now. I think they're above 500.
I think they're close. I think they're like 5 or 6 and 7 or something like that. So they're afloat.
This is kind of the season I expected from them.
I agree.
Like we didn't think they're gonna be absolutely awful, but we said like their offense is gonna be good. They're just not gonna be able to pitch. Like their pitching is not gonna win them any games really.
Yeah.
And you saw, I mean, their pitching actually did good today, and their bats went quiet. So, and like yesterday, I tuned into the Padres when they're playing them. They scored 9 runs off of Dylan Cease. Like that doesn't happen often. Like I think it was the most runs he's let up in a career start, and they were all like, I think it was like 4. It was like 4 or 5 runs in the first, and it's also impressive because the Padres took like a 3-4 nothing lead in the top of the first, and then the A's bounced right back. I think it's gonna be interesting to see like how they do as well, and they're performing exactly how I kind of predicted it in the NLS preview. This offense is going to be really good. They're going to be a fun young team to watch. It's just the pitching is going to hold them back, and also it's not the toughest division though. Like the Rangers, and we talked about the Angels a little bit, but I feel like the AL West for the most part is still like up for grabs. There's no like definitive good team. So maybe the A's can make a little run. They really have nothing to lose, especially maybe playing in Sacramento helps them. It seems like the ball's flying out of there left and right. So maybe that will give them an advantage at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, I echo everything you said there. Right where I expected them. But we could be having a conversation where if the ball is just going to carry the way it is, like they might be similar to what the Diamondbacks were last year, where no pitching, but like a top 5 offense in the league.
Yeah.
Obviously, in this case, it would be largely due to the size of the park and how the ball carries and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I mean, I'm excited for the A's, and we're going to get this for at least next year, and I believe the following year. Yeah. So who knows? Who knows?
I think they have a prospect in the minors too. I forget his name.
Okay.
He's a first baseman, but it's basically like he's going to be up next. And along with Brent Rooker and all those guys. But yeah, I'm just really, really. Like I said, about the Angels and the Braves and the Giants, it's going to be interesting to see where the A's go as well. They kind of like I said, performing exactly how I thought they would, but their offense is fun.
Yeah,
I think it's good for baseball. I think they need their own stadium though. I think that'll definitely it'll be good for the game once they get their own stadium. But I don't think that's coming for another 2 or 3 years now. But that's a whole different topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else to
That's
add
it.
on
That's all I got. It
on
was
the
a good recap.
Sacramento Las Vegas Oakland A's?
Yeah,
Um,
that's it.
yeah, it's a quick update for you guys. Almost at 1,000 subscribers. We might be cooking up something special with that. So stay tuned. But like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Let us know like what has stood out to you the most about the start of the season so far. And yeah, we'll see you next time here on In the Yard.
See you guys.